Welcome back to Crypto Spaces, back with another Monad update for you guys. As we can see, Monad sitting just under 24 cent. Again, guys, we entered around 185 cent, 18 cent. You know, a few people, I'm sure a lot of the whales caught the bottom at 17 cent, but 185 to 17 is not that much of a big deal in my opinion. I think we still had a great entry. If you do your research as well, you'll see that the venture capitalists got in at 1 cent exactly, right? The VCs. So, they have a 70 to 80% profit from our entry, but that's not bad. Typically, VCs have like a 5x, 10x entry. They're the VCs get in way lower, right? So a 70 to 80% entry from us, right? Just a 70 to 80% entry, because remember, Monad dropped below the ICO price, right? So the VCs being in at 1 cent exactly, and us being in at 185, 18 cent, they have an 80% gain on us. That's not bad at all, right? I told you guys before, I think this is the first time that there's a project that ICOs where it's pretty much super fair for both retail investors like ourselves and the venture capitalists. It's the venture capitalists have such a close entry to the retail investors. It's the first time in forever where you see a ICO being launched in a much more fair situation, right? Now, obviously, the people that got in at the Coinbase ICO have a much higher entry, but this is why you DCA. This is why you take you buy when it's fearful, right? This is why you buy dips, and this is why you take profits, right? For example, if you got in at the Coinbase ICO, you held all the way up. Well, when the price dropped below 2 cent, that was the time for you to buy, right? And now you're gonna be, when you get back to the ICO, you're gonna be you're gonna be at break even, and you're also gonna be at profit, right? So this is why DCA is very powerful. That is a very, very powerful strategy for the right coins, right? Not all the coins, but for the right ones, right? I still think that Coinbase, since this is the first Coinbase ICO, which is an initial coin offering where you could buy at a relatively cheap price for the project, and you don't have to worry about rugs, scams, etc. I still think that Coinbase will make Monad will be one of the people that make Monad, one of the companies that make Monad successful. We also saw that Monad was featured on CNBC as well, another company that will make Monad successful. And we know the communities there. We know the VCs want their investment to do absolutely fantastic. I don't think the VCs or the venture capitalists are just gonna settle for a 10x, right? I think they want a 20 to 30 to 50 to 100x, right? That's what I think. That's why the VCs have so much control of these coins in the space that are altcoins, right? A lot of people complain about meme coins, but the thing about meme coins and why so much retail was attracted to meme coins was because the total supply was already out. The total supply for meme coin is already out at the beginning, right? You don't have to worry about token unlocks. You don't have to worry about the team having 50% of the supply and more to dump on you, right? But in this case, I've never seen more of a more fair launch when it comes to Monad, right? Because the ICO was 25 cent, it dropped below 2 cent, almost as close as the VC's entry, right? Almost as close to the VC's entry. You have no massive unlocks until next year, November 2026. Like, this is set up for such a massive move, and I'm still gonna be bull posting it, because it's like the entirety of crypto is ignoring these facts that I'm stating in my video, right? So right now, it's sitting at 252.41 million in market cap, 2.3 billion in FDV. And right here, you take a look right here from Crypto Patel. Let me pull up the full post, right? Can I show you guys? Oh, here we go. Okay. Is Mon bullish? Technical structure suggests 10x potential, and I think more than that, right? So the demand zone is at the 2 cent to 22 cent area. Supply zone is 2.5 to 27 cents, which is the ICO price, right? So we're gonna have a little bit of trouble breaking the ICO price, but once we break through that, once again, you will see new all-time highs for Monad, in my opinion. Based on structure and expansion potential, 10x upside is possible in a strong alt season. Volatility remains high, risk management is mandatory. So as you can see, we're going to have the resistance zone at the ICO price, because a lot of people are going to want to get out at break even. I don't understand why, but that's just how human psychology is. They want to get out at break even. That's when they got in, because it dropped below their entry. And they're going to be like, oh, this is not going to do anything, right? It's going to go back, maybe pulls back or just goes sideways, consolidates at the ICO price for a little bit. And then massive move up to 22 cent from here, right? After that 10x move in Monad, however, I think, it consolidates once again. Maybe you see this line, maybe it rolls over a bit, consolidates around 12 to 14 cent, and then makes its next move up to potentially that 50 cent to 70 cent to $1 target, in my opinion, right? But the 10x move is in the cards, and from Crypto Patel's TA, it looks like it's gonna happen pretty quickly, right? Going into the new year, right? For January looks like it's gonna be the year where things really start to pick up, and we're a few days away from it, right? So Monad looking great here from Alpha Crypto Signal. Mon has delivered a clean trendline break, showing notable strength despite the current dull market conditions, right? Hovering above the trendline, continuation to the upside looks highly unlikely. Momentum is building, and the structure favors a strong expansion move ahead. And that's what we're preparing for, right? No, again, it feels like the entirety of crypto Twitter are just avoiding Monad. They think it's dead. They think it's just a ghost chain. Not on this channel. We think Monad is going to do massive and save a lot of people's portfolios out there, right? Or if you're just getting started and you didn't get wrecked this year and you're just getting started, help to build your portfolio, right? So we see the trend line break. This was a falling wedge, and now we're starting to climb back up again on Monad, which is awesome. Monad is now the number 22 chain by DeFi TVL ranking. Total DeFi TVL ranking 245 million. Mon is just getting starting. So as you can see, right? So many. Wow, it surpassed Cardano in TVL. Holy crap! No way, it surpassed Cardano. It surpassed Cardano. That's hilarious. Where's Cardano? Cardano, I'm saying it wrong. Where is Cardano? Where is ADA? Let me say ADA. 12.7 billion market cap, and it surpassed ADA in TVL down here. That is hilarious. Now we're at number 22 in TVL. Total value lock means the number of accrual from stable coins to different liquidity pools to people just buying things on the ecosystem like memes, right? That's what TVL is. And for us to be at 22 already in all of the assets in crypto, I wouldn't be surprised Monad gets to, the top 10 by TVL very soon, right? And when TVL consistently rises, you see consistency in pricing, in rises in the price as well. I wouldn't be shocked we see Monad sitting just under Dogecoin or above Dogecoin in the future. I really think that's the case, right? I really think that's the case. I've never seen such a powerful community, such powerful technology, and a project that has been so fair to retail in a long time. I really think Monad is gonna flip Cardano, get to Dogecoin level, in my opinion. Even flip Hyperliquid, I think that's gonna be the case, right? So very awesome to see that our TVL is rising like that. Mon looking good here, actually still holding on to my eardrop as well. Price of Mon has returned to the ICO price. Now we're consolidating at the ICO price. Look out for 2026, guys. I think that's gonna be super massive for Monad, right? I really do think so. One of the better looking altcoin charts out there on a lower time frame. Saw it place the DCA in validation daily close below 0.021. And as I said before, guys, I think 100,000 Monad is a great start. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to get no 500k 700k monad. What I've learned in crypto, there's always another opportunity. How I made 6 figures last year in crypto is that I compounded gains one trade at a time. Hopped into one project, got some gains, took profits, left, you know, a moon bag in, and then rotated into a next project. It's that simple. So you don't have to go crazy. Take it on a trade on a high time frame, right? Trade on a high time frame. You buy 100,000 monad tokens, 50,000 to 100,000. Monad goes to, you know, $1, right? Which I think is very possible. Then you have $100,000, right? Now you have $100,000. You take some profits, leaving that moon bag. So maybe like you take out 70k, 60, 50k, right? And then you rotate some of the, you take the 50k, you get a safety net of like 35k. And then you trade the other 15k in the market, or you get a safety net of 30k, and then you keep the 20k in the market, get a 5x on the 20k. Now you have another 100k. Then you do it again, right? That's how I see it, man. This is how you win in spot trading in crypto, not leverage, but this is how you win in spot, right? So sticking to my guns here, I'm bullish on monad. I think $1 to $3 highly possible. Crypto moves very fast, and you know, once we have no, it doesn't even matter if we have an alt season or any of that. Monad is already an outlier by outperforming most of these coins that we see in the market, right? I think Monad would be an outlier in 2026, and with the recent, you know, outperformance that we're seeing up for Monad being up 20 to 30% already off the lows, compared to many other altcoins that have not moved at all. 95% of altcoins have not moved at all. I think Monad will be a big winner. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. None of this is financial advice, and I'll catch you in the next one.